Hey everybody, thanks for stopping back in for another video, and today I have enlisted my lovely assistant, not quite Butta, to help me demonstrate the brand new CTS Archive tool. It was just released yesterday, and this is a new product. It works either standalone or very nicely integrated with the Wardrobe tool to help manage even more of our inventory. I'm going to be doing a short series of videos on this, trying to dive into all of the functionality and really sort of show you how it works. But in this first video, I want to just do a really quick overview, show you how to get in and get started at the most basic level with the product. And then in subsequent videos, we'll dive in a little bit deeper. So the CTS archiving tool is, like I said, a tool to help us organize our inventory. It allows us basically to box up things we no longer want to keep in our inventory and store them away in a cabinet, basically. That's the metaphor we're going for here. Now, if you use CTS Wardrobe, the process for doing this is actually integrated right into your wardrobe. So if you have something in your wardrobe that you no longer want to keep in your inventory, you can archive it. You can put it into this cabinet, and Wardrobe will remember that it's archived, and when you need to get it back, it can retrieve that from the cabinet for you. It's all really neat. So let's take a look at how to get started before we get in too deep. When you buy the product, it's going to come in a box, just like the one I'm sitting on. You go ahead and res it out, and you'll go ahead and open it up, and there's really not a whole lot inside of it. It's the archive cabinet itself and a couple extra files. We're going to copy that to inventory. You're going to get this note card, and it does have a link here to a set of instructions, a set of written instructions on the CTS website. So you can check those out. It's a good, quick read-through that should give you a heads up on how most of this works. All right, let me go ahead and get that out of our way. And we're going to go ahead and res out the cabinet. So I've got my regular wardrobe behind me. Actually, that's Butta's wardrobe. Go ahead and turn this around. And what we have here is our archive. Now, a couple of things I want to point out right away. These are super duper important. When you click on your wardrobe and you go into edit, if you're not already, you'll have the name and the description. On the description line, there's going to be this code right here. And the words at the end, do not edit. Super important. Don't delete what's on this line. Don't change what's on this line. Don't do anything on this line at all, because this is the code that lets the Wardrobe website know when you res out a new cabinet whether or not you've resed it out before. Every time you res something in Second Life, even if you've resed it in the past, it will get a new identifying number associated with it. And since that changes every time you res it out, we needed to add something that never changed, and that's what this code is here. So every time you res a brand new cabinet, it will get a code for the first time, and that will be a unique code for your cabinet, so don't change that line. However, you can change the name. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call mine Not Quite Archived. Oops, caps lock, Not Quite Archived. There we go. So that's the basics of it. We got our cabinet loaded in World. Now, to make best use of our cabinet, we're going to click on it. And when we do, we're going to get this menu right here. It's got lots of options. Over the course of the videos, we'll go through all of these, but there's one that's really super duper important when you're getting started, and that is Add Drawer. Let me explain how this thing's going to work. When you click Add Drawer, it's going to ask you for a name. You can call these whatever you want, and really, honestly, you can create as many of them as you want. I think the technical limit would be something like 10,000. You're going to reach a practical limit long before you get there. You'll just make it too difficult to work with once you get past maybe, I don't really know, maybe 50 or 60 or 100 drawers inside of a single cabinet. It'll just become a bit unwieldy to work through. But for our purposes, we're going to go ahead and create a drawer in here called Clothing. Drawers are the basic storage principles for this archive tool. And so when you create a new one, you give it a name, you click Submit, And the archive's going to pop up and say, with this box, you can see it down in the lower right, clothing, an object owned by the Butta alt, would like to link and delink objects, link and delink, oh, that's hard to say, from other objects. Is this okay? You have to say yes here. If you don't say yes, or you don't see this prompt, what that means is that your new drawer that you've just created will not be properly added to your archive cabinet. So I'm going to say yes. Now, you're never going to have to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and cam inside of my archive cabinet. And if you look way down here, you see this little itsy bitsy tiny drawer. And if I right click on it and choose edit, and I choose edit linked, you'll see that this drawer here is called clothing. This is the drawer that we just made. Now, you're never going to have to do this. I just wanted to show you that what we're actually doing when we create a drawer is we're creating a brand new object inside of our archive cabinet to store things in. So let's go ahead and also create another drawer. I'm going to go ahead and add drawer. I'm going to call this one gadgets. I'm going to choose submit. It's going to give me my pop-up. Do you want a link? I'm going to say yes. And if I cam back inside my cabinet, now you're going to see I have two little drawers. One's going to be called clothing and one's going to be called gadgets. And like I said, you can keep adding more and more of these and organize stuff however you want. Now, once you have drawers created, you can actually start putting things into the cabinet. We're not going to do that in this video. I just want to get it set up for you and just kind of talk about these broad topics in this video. And we'll come back in the next video and actually get some stuff put in. One last thing I want to show you before we end this video, and that is how to quote-unquote open a drawer. So if I click on my cabinet one more time, I'm going to have a button here that says open drawer. And when I click on that, it's going to show me a listing of all of the drawers that are inside of this cabinet. Now remember, a couple minutes ago I said that while the technical limit's like 10,000, there's a more practical limit, and this is where we start to see it. If you had 10,000 drawers in here, you would have to go through potentially hundreds and hundreds of menus to get to the drawer that you wanted to select to open. So the practical limit for these is probably much, much smaller. I think you can display up to 6 buttons on a page, so kind of think of it that way. You don't want to have lots and lots of drawers inside of a single cabinet. However, you can have multiple cabinets if that works for you. So I'm going to go ahead and open a drawer. I'm going to choose to open the clothing drawer. Now, of course, we haven't put anything in it yet, but when you click open, it's going to take that tiny little drawer that we saw when we cammed inside, and it's going to make it bigger, and it's going to put it right out here in the front for you. So you don't have to do what I did, which was kind of dig around inside the cabinet. I can just come straight to this here, right-click, choose Edit, and I can choose Edit Linked. Click on that drawer that's sticking out, and you'll see that's the one that's called Clothing. And if I want to, I can rename it. I can call it My Clothing, or whatever you want it to be. I'm going to close that down, and I can just click the cabinet drawer that's out here in front, and it's going to shrink back down and go back inside the cabinet. That's the overview. I know we didn't cover a whole lot, but that will get you up and going and started. You have to do this piece first. Before anything, you have to create at least one drawer to store things in. And my recommendation is create one drawer, and then maybe add something to it. Think about how you want to make use of it before you go adding a whole lot of drawers. Kind of give some thought to what your process is going to be. And we'll get into that process in the next video, where we start to archive things that are old out of our inventory via Wardrobe. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.